What's up everybody, it's Supersmallchibiwolf, and today I'm going to be talking about finished my retro game collection, that battles, Bardock video, and more, so let's get into this. So two things before talking about the Death Battle. Number one, unfortunately the voice actor, the narrator of the Dragon Ball Z anime has unfortunately passed away. And number two, the same person before sent me a beanie of Goku's hairstyle. So yeah. If you're interested, this exists. So with all that being said, let's continue on with the Death Battle. So getting into the Death Battle, Bardock's Death Battle, I feel like a few things, but I don't want this to be a long section, so let me just say this. I'm not that surprised, to be honest. I saw this and I was like, yeah, this is Death Battle. They tend to, I kind of expected it. I was like, I wonder how they're going to end Bardock this time, a Dragon Ball character this time. So I didn't, so I was like, oh, okay. So yeah. Now, I feel like when it comes down to their battles, it's kind of like this, right? They do characters, they use the same franchises at times, kind of getting, boned out and this and that. They're not that creative in matchup wise. And look, I'm not saying, like, for example, if people do, similar matchups, nice, that's cool, that's their version of it. Maybe they have better graphics or unique, ideas to add. And I don't think that's a bad idea. But if your whole thing is, you kind of lack creativity in the way of not using characters that not well known. You're just going for just same franchises that's being over and over and over. It's kind of like boring, you know what I mean? And that's why I kind of fell off the Voices channel stuff, because I just wasn't into that stuff, But besides that, coming back to it, I'm like, oh yeah, that battle, to be fair, that battle wasn't the best way one to go back to watching, to get back into the Voices stuff. But hell, I did it. And I'm like, oh, damn it. Number one, besides the awful resource rich, if you really resource two characters, unlike they do, because they don't research shit. This is one of the best examples of that they don't do research or at all. And I'm like, wait a minute, some of these points, and even in, they say earlier, their battles before this one, they make points which could easily be debunked using their own logic, or seeing what logic they used for some characters to win. You could use that and fucking debunk most of their own fights themselves. And it's like, man, I don't know. It's weird. So to end it off, I'm going to say this. The animation was good. I don't want to sound all negative. Let me just say the animation was good. The outcome was weird. Like, okay. And overall, I think, it was a nice little, hey, throwback, I guess. So the next thing I would like to talk about is that I finished my retro game collection. Yep, I started with 64 and ended it with 64. Yep, Mario Party 3, last one. And yeah, long story short, and I'm just going to ramble at this point, okay? I had a copy, it was destroyed, and I had to rebuy it, unfortunately. Next thing, I had fun, I had fun collecting retro games, but I think, like I said before, every story comes to an end, and I think I'm good, I'm good with my collection. I have a big collection made up of smaller collections, and yeah. Now, next thing I want to say is that, when it comes down to retro game collection, I would say, it's kind of like back and forth, but I don't know, really. But you know how they have like the Nintendo World Championships NES edition? I got that. Now, I don't consider that buying retro games because it's a modern take. Now, modern takes of like retro games, something like that, I see that as a modern game and not a retro game. So I don't consider that as a, buying retro games, or any type of remake, remastered, because at that point it's just like you're taking something and changing it up to fit, modern times. Now, don't get me wrong, I know that sometimes when they do that, they tend to censor stuff due to the modern times, and whether it's too violent, which never, it's like, dude, this is not a kid's game. Why the hell are you gonna censor violence or some shit? It's like, The hell? You know what I mean? It's dumb. So yeah. So in my opinion, long story short, yeah, it was fun collecting retro games, and I'm gonna focus more on the new stuff, which leads me to Nintendo and Sony, which I'll be talking about now. The last thing I'd like to talk about is my future gaming plans. So I plan to stay with Nintendo for the 10th gen gaming consoles. 8th gen I had PS4, 9th gen I had both Switch and PS5, but 10th gen I think is going to be Nintendo only. And look, for example, the new Legend of Zelda game, for example, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, that's a new game that came out recently, right? I love that game. It's an amazing fun game. And I have fun. I say Switch exclusive. You could only get it on Switch and play it on Switch, and that's you emulate and stuff. But that's a whole different thing. But yeah, you get it on Switch. You play it on Switch. It's only on Switch. It's not on PlayStation. PlayStation doesn't have exclusives. Exclusives makes the console worth buying. If a game is on, if you have a console and half of the library is in a console that you have already, why buy that expensive console? That's how I'm seeing it right now. And also, another bullshit of Sony is that they always remaking games from the last gen. Like, dude, this came out last gen, or this has a remake or remastered on your last gen console. Just people could buy that version and play it on their current gen. Like, why the hell does it need a enhancements? I mean, and all that stuff. It's like, it doesn't make sense. It's like Sony create new games. Use the IPs you haven't used in a long time. It's annoying, When I turn on my PS5, I usually play games on the PS4 or the King of Fighters 15 or Tekken 8. Tekken 8 and King of Fighters 15 are the two games keeping my PS5 alive, PS5 game-wise. I play those two a lot, and I love those games so much. Those are easily the best, just so good, the best PS5 games you could get. Now, what I was thinking is, I'm thinking of selling those two copies and getting the PS4 versions and just chilling with the PS4, just be like, yo. But that's a whole different thing, you know what I mean? Besides that, though, Nintendo, I can't wait for your next console. Hopefully your ego doesn't go overboard and you make another Wii U. Okay, that's the only thing I could say about them. Yep. Yeah, besides all of that, back to The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Man, that's a wonderful game. I love it. I'm enjoying it. Playing little parts of that. I'm trying to go back and forth. I'm trying to play that game, the Nintendo World Championships NES edition, and Super Monkey Ball Banana Wumble. Yep. I think I'm going to finish Zelda first, then jump on the Wumble, and then chill with Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, probably close to Christmas time, and do my final video of the year. Probably like top blank games of 2024. Yep. We'll see who wins that one. I'm interested too, So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, bye.